Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of now Teslafy full self-driving beta. I am on version 10.69.2.2. I'm doing a bit of a voiceover here because the filming of this test loop was very much a shit show. I had GoPro issues, I had camera angle issues. I had all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So I've done my best to edit and splice this thing together to bring you the test loop in its entirety. Again, it's shot over a course of 2 days, but there are some amazing interactions here and some really awesome wins. So I'm really excited to cut this video together and share it with you all. If you have a few seconds while you're watching the video, please go ahead and click that like button, and if you like my content enough and would like to see more, your subscription would be awesome too. And of course, I'm always happy to answer any questions. Feel free to leave those comments below. All right, let's get started with this drive and check out some of the interesting things. Chapter markers are below if you would like to jump to a specific spot. Let's go. Quickly. So the blinker thing is apparently still a thing. That was in my last video. But yeah, in general, 69.2 has treated me very well around town. The creep line is new. Again, that's a really great thing for pilot confidence. I'm calling us Tesla pilots. I had said operators last time, but I am going to say Tesla pilot. Anyway, so good first right, no problem. We got our first unprotected left up here. Which unprotected lefts have been kind of the biggest change, or one of the biggest things tackled in 10.69, and some awkwardness trying to get into this lane. But it made it. There's nobody behind us, and didn't really have anything to obstruct us, so good. It is 5:45 here in central Washington. So the traffic is, we don't have bad traffic here, luckily, but at this time of day, it's a little bit higher than normal. And I think for my loop drive, this is the longest I've had to sit at this left. Alright, so we're going to need to move up to see. Oh, I got a weird... Okay, it's going to go. Alright. The interesting thing was I didn't get a good look at the left. I was looking a little bit more to the right to see what that traffic looked like. But it was confident enough to go. Alright. Got a little bit close. It likes to get close to that left-hand lane still, or that turn lane traffic on that right, but it's fine. As long as it's painted. When it was just after the winter, if you saw any of my old videos, it got too close to that line because I think the paint had worn off through the winter. Whoa, slowing way down unnecessarily. So I didn't have to disengage, but I did use the accelerator. We're going to report that. So that will be an intervention. And a long wait for this. Okay, now it's turning a little too far. Long wait at this four-way stop. A weird kind of wave movement there. I was thinking maybe it wants to get into that left-hand lane. We'll see. Again, this is more traffic than typical when I drive this loop. so a little bit more waiting than usual as well. Okay, letting that bus go, which is right, and we're gonna have a pedestrian crossing traffic. Good. Oh, it's wanting to turn. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage because this was clearly our turn. We were waiting for that pedestrian. So there's our first disengagement. A little unfortunate. That pedestrian clearly confused everything, and it looked like the Tesla wanted to maybe go around it. I'll have to watch the video again to see what the path planner looked like. But with as much traffic was around, I wasn't gonna try and let it test its. I wasn't gonna test its mettle. So, all right. So, kind of cheated with that normal left there. Sometimes that trips up the car as well, or becomes a little awkward. But we have a yield to the folks in this traffic circle, coming out of the traffic circle. And there's only been a handful of times where I really feel like the car has interacted with yielding to this traffic. So all these guys have the right of way. I'm still watching. We should be able to merge after this Subaru. Okay, that was fantastic, really. Like, that was like a fantastic representation of yielding for that traffic coming out of the circle. And that's an awkward yield with the traffic that far behind. And again, that's a really great example of how Tesla's camera system can probably do better than people, because I'm, having to crank my neck all the way back there just to see the traffic that we're supposed to yield to. So it waited appropriately, let everybody through, didn't try and jump in front of anybody, and then even started rolling to catch up essentially with this Subaru, which is still here on my left. So that was a really fantastic interaction, and exactly how I would have done it as a human. So well done, Beta. I don't have any confidence that we are going to win the Pybus Challenge today, but hey, you never know. Alright, so we got a blinking yellow here for crosswalk. Is it going to stop? Yes, it is going to stop. Awesome. So this is another really good test for Beta that I rarely, if ever, have gotten to interact with. There's usually nobody to use that crosswalk. So, hey, and even went, appropriately. Well done. So far, this is pretty awesome. Again, I have not encountered that in this loop. So, there you go. Pedestrian, it saw the yellow light, it waited for it, and then kept going after the pedestrian crossed, and then the blinking red. Awesome interaction. Alright, coming up on Orondo Street, which is where we're going to be turning right to try and make to Pybus Market. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the channel, or this is your first time watching, the Pybus Challenge is essentially, Pybus is a public market here in Wenatchee, and if it makes it to the market, I'm going to buy some meats from Mike's Meats, patron of local meat place, which I do anyway. But I think it'd be a cool reward if Beta does it for some reason, and plus give me a good excuse to buy some meat. But the bottom of this hill, the lane we are currently in, which is the lane it always gets in, is a right turn only. It is appropriately marked on the road. I believe there is even a sign. There is. I can see it from here. But it's either in the past stalled, not done anything, or tries to go through the intersection, but go straight. And it is not able to do that. So let's see what happens. So it's making a left. Oh my gosh. It's gonna do it. For the first time ever. It is in the appropriate lane. It is going to Pybus Market in the Pybus Market challenge has been solved. Wow, that is absolutely awesome. But now we're stopped here for no reason. Maybe it thinks that's a light. There's nobody behind me. I'm gonna see what happens here. There is somebody coming now. So I made it through the light. I'm gonna go ahead and give it the accelerator. And I must have done it too hard because it turned off. But I'm gonna call that, should I call it a win? Man, that's really hard. That's the main challenge. It's gotten there, but hasn't fully gotten there, right? So, man. What I'm gonna do is I'll go ahead and walk through it. Well, we'll drive through it here to make a U-turn. On the way back from my errand, I'm going to we'll stop and get some meat, because that is been the initial challenge, and that is the first time it has successfully made it. But then it got tripped up but I've never been able to test that part because it's never gotten that far. So I don't know. It's kind of this weird. I'm gonna have to test it again. That's just what I'm gonna have to do. So we'll call it a partial. And I think if we're gonna get technical, it didn't actually make it to the market. Again, I'm not trying to make excuses. It really, it did a good job. Finally not turn. That is, oh my gosh, it's just awesome. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this particular leg. And we will shoot part 2 of that here, going back over the bridge and seeing how it does with lane changes and that sort of thing, and I'll splice that in. All right, we're back. Had to do this in a couple of parts, guys. So I continued a bit of a drive last night. I may throw some of that footage in this, but I wanted to try my loop again, specifically the Pybus Challenge. So we're kind of giving it a fresh start here during the day on 10.69.2.2, but I needed to make sure that it actually did complete the Pybus Challenge. So I'm going to splice this in and we'll see how it works. Okay, here we are, Rondo Avenue. We're going to be making a right down here to Pybus. So as you saw earlier, it got in the appropriate lane and got out of that right turn only lane, which was the first time ever that it had done that, and went through appropriately, but then stopped. It's just stopped for whatever reason. It was like too proud of itself. Okay, we're moving over quickly in the intersection. That was a bit of aggressive, but fine. Okay, so again, we're in the right lane. That's awesome. Now, can it make it to the market? Can we get there? So there is the end, and we're gonna roll through. So we'll see. Okay, yesterday it stopped there for some reason. Now we're at the four-way stop. It has never gotten this far on its own, ever. Awesome. All right, so is it gonna roll through? I don't know if it's actually gonna get in, so it's gonna roll up to the creep line. It's fine, there's nobody else, but oh my gosh, you guys, it did it. It made it here. Holy smokes. All right, well, we made it to Pybus Market on autopilot, so it won the Pybus Challenge. At Tesla Autopilot devs, you guys did it. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the market, and I'm going to get some meat from Mike's Meats for winning the Pybus Challenge. Hooray for me, I get to eat some meat. Yeah, I'm gonna take you guys with me too, and we'll see what's going on. So let's find a parking spot. I'm actually gonna go see if the EV charging is open, because it's also really close to Mike's Meats. First time it has made it all the way and even pulled into the lot on its own. Just awesome. In a .2.2 release. Just crazy. Who would have thought? Like, I thought it was going to be another whole version before it did that. So that is just baller. Alright, here's our EV parking. I'm going to park and we'll go in. Alright, so headed into the market. There's the Mike's Meat sign. I'll give you a quick rundown. I'm a Tesla owner, and I'm in the full self-driving beta program, which allows the car to drive me.
Right.
And I've had a self-proclaimed goal that if the car drove me from East Wenatchee to Pybus Market without me doing anything, that I'd come in here and buy some meat.
All right.
And it did it for the first time today. And I've been in the program for a year, so my car drove me from East Wenatchee here.
You didn't touch anything?
I didn't touch anything.
Press start?
Press start, that's it. How awesome is that? So it's had some troubles up until now, but today was the first time. So I'm gonna get 4 of these bacon burgers.
Alrighty.
And then I'll take 2 teriyaki pepperoni sticks, please.
Got it.
All right. So now, interestingly, we have never done this part of the Pybus Challenge or this part of the loop because it's never made it before. Okay, we do not need to go right. So apparently right out of the parking lot is not what we want to do. So that wasn't off to a good redemption. Go right. Yes, thank you. Okay. So, yep, this will just give us a slightly different adjustment to our route. So normally we're on Columbia, a street over across the train tracks. But here we're going to basically go under the train tracks. But again, I have not done this in this route on my videos. So pretty slow through that 4-way stop. This does actually add an additional unprotected left turn, but typically isn't a very busy one. And then this is a right turn up here. So again, kind of all new territory. Okay, a little jerky around that corner. Like stopped and hesitated for a second and kind of was confused in moving the wheel.
Red light camera ahead.
All right, so left here. It's all clear, should go. So go into the creep line. Okay. And then make this quick right. Yep. Okay, not very comfortable and over the line there. Okay, so now we're back on what would normally be our continued route from the failed Pybus Challenge, but today it made it. Unprotected left here across a couple lanes of traffic, and this is going to be a gimme. And it's not diving into that first lane. I don't know why that is. You could make the conjecture that, well, way up here, we do need to be in this lane, but I have not ever known Beta to anticipate the route that far ahead. So getting onto the bridge now. This is not a merge situation. This is a brand new lane onto the bridge, so there's no reason for us to merge or slow down, which it did perfectly fine with that. Pretty heavy traffic, which is on the bridge. Heavy traffic for Wenatchee, that is. So it usually likes to dive into this lane before our turn anyway, so now it's just not going to have to make that move. But if you have seen my previous videos, before, even though we start in this lane, it gets in the left lane for some reason and then comes over. So this is fine, but it's now for sure going to have to make that left here, and it's going to have to find a good spot to do it. Slowing down. So most people, when they need to make this left, they're gonna do it at the bottom, you know, on the straight here. Right about here is where people would start. But okay, is it gonna give up or is it gonna slow down? So it knows it needs to move over. I think it's gonna wait for this Cadillac, and then is it gonna move over? Yes. Okay, so that was appropriate and safe. It waited, and it didn't really hold up any other traffic, although it was a little bit annoying with the blinker. So that was pretty good. So interestingly enough, coming back to this four-way stop in this direction, it doesn't have any trouble moving through. It's only coming down on this street, so I don't know why that difference might be. But, okay, we're gonna go here. It was hard for me to know if there was another car waiting there. So we're gonna let this truck do its thing, and then we'll move over. Okay, that was a great interaction as well. Possibly the truck itself, the driver of the truck was like trying to, you know, block the EV and get out in front, but it, you know, it worked out all right for us because, you know, we were still able to merge over, and it handled that also just fine. So far, from Pybus, with the exception of getting out of that parking lot, 0 disengagements and not even any interventions. I haven't had to use the accelerator or anything. So return trip so far has been very good. It is crazy how much better 10.69.2.2 is, even over 6.9.2. Even though it's a very minor dot point, it really has made some significant improvements, even to my drive, and literally resolved the Pybus Challenge. That lane was really the only thing keeping it, and it did it. So just fantastic stuff.